Hi, how you going? Nice to meet you. My name is Margot. Let me just take a moment to introduce myself. So, I am an empowerment coach, and what that personally means is my enthusiasm, my passion, my commitment to my clients is to support and guide them through the means of empowering them. Empowerment is something that's so important to me because I strongly believe that everybody has the resources within them to be able to achieve absolutely anything in their life, and I truly mean absolutely anything in their life. But the thing that a lot of people start to get too, I guess, lost in the noise on is stuff happens, events happen, experiences happen, moments, feelings, emotions, etc. And we start to come up against challenges, blockages, reasons that we can't move forward. And therefore, we start to become quite unaware of the resources we have within us. And because of that, we tend to stop moving forward, or we feel like we're stuck, or we feel like in a year's time, we're still standing in the very same position, even though we're trying to do something, and all our attempts of us aiming for that goal might not actually be successful. It could also be because so much else is going on for us that we actually sabotage our own success along the way. So there's a whole heap of things that I could really concentrate and unpack on this topic. But what I wanted to focus on today, and if you have worked with me or you will work with me, you'll learn I like to be as authentic as possible. So my style of presenting on topics is to just literally come forward and start talking about them. So I am human. You may hear some errors on my behalf. Imperfection is totally welcome, and I welcome that for absolutely anybody. We should be okay with the opportunity of being imperfect. And other than a couple of notes that I've got jotted down, I literally just like to talk openly about a conversation, and I'm always welcome to feedback at the end. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how this recording has resonated with you. If there's anything more you'd like to hear, if there's any other topics you'd like me to focus and present on, I am always open to feedback. So let me know what went really well with this recording for you, and what can I always do even better if. So one of the first topics that I think I ever wrote down on a piece of paper something I would like to focus on is resilience. And I'll give you a bit of background as why I've chosen resilience and why resilience is, I guess, important to me. I struggled through life when I was a lot younger as a child. I went through a lot of stages of being bullied through primary school. A lot of cultural challenges were present. I'm Lebanese in culture. I've grown up in quite a strict cultural traditional family. We are Catholic, so we obviously are also there's some religious beliefs that were factored in. And on top of the bullying that I went through in school, I was quite introverted as a child when I was in society, but yet when I came home, I exhibited quite different behavior. I was quite outspoken. I used to always have to fight for my position. I probably portrayed all of the things that the outside world was doing to me at home, where I obviously was comfortable and safe to do so. So as I kind of traveled through into my adolescence, we thankfully ended up moving away from the area I'd grown up into a brand new area. So we transferred schools, and even though at the time I was extremely unhappy with the choice that my parents had made, I was thankful now when I look back, and even in the moment, because it gave me the opportunity of, I guess, starting over, if that makes sense. And I'd made a decision at that moment when I did start over in a new school with new friends, with new surroundings, that I wasn't going to be that young little girl anymore that was being pushed over, or allowing others to push her over, or allowing others to bully her. So in that moment, I guess a part of me started to come into understanding or forming that resilience. So resilience, let me describe it for you just so we're crystal clear on what resilience means. And it's the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, challenges, anything that presents itself in your life. So a lot of people, when you say the word I'm resilient, think you're able to say no to a capacity that may fit in the same bucket, but that's not the true meaning of what resilience is. So resilience, it's your ability to literally come back to shape, bounce back, move forward, put one step in front of the other when life seems like it is absolutely coming down like a ton of bricks on you. It could be something so small that is difficult to recover to something extremely large that you're trying to recover from as well. So resilience is that ability to adapt, to adapt in various through various subjects like trauma, relationship breakdowns, the grief of losing a loved one, family problems, financial problems. You know, there's so much things that pop up for us, especially in a world where we're living with a pandemic. There's the threats, workplace stresses. There's so much that can become a difficulty for us that our resilience is the ability to be able to come back and actually push past that. So in that moment in my life when I changed schools and I'd made that decision, from there my resilience has grown over time, and it's grown quite strong, and it's a strength of mine that I continually work on, because it gives me the opportunity to, I guess, not be stuck in a position when difficulties arise or tragedy or trauma come face to face with me. I'm able to, through my resilience, actually be able to get up and move forward and continue how I want to, and I guess be comfortable, safe, and in control of my emotions in that moment. So what I mean by in control, I don't mean let's place control on yourself. No, it's just being able to be comfortable within that moment of resilience. So look, resilience is, like I said, it's not a personality trait. It's not something that you're born with. It's not something that you get given. It is a quality or an ability that you do need to work on. It's like a muscle. You need to train it and train it and train it and continue to train it, continue to work on it, continue to recognize it. So you gotta learn resilience. You've got to develop resilience. You've got to understand, how does resilience show up for you? What do you need to understand about yourself, and where are you, I guess, lacking in resilience, and how do you strengthen that? And what intentions, what consistency can you give yourself? What dedication, what determination have you got rooted within your resources that can aid you in building the muscle to resilience? So some strategies to help you to increase resilience is connection with loved ones, learning to connecting openly, connecting with safety, wellness, healthy thinking, healthy lifestyle choices. And I think, a lot of people, when I say this to them, they do respond with, what's that got to do with resilience? Well, healthy lifestyle choices, healthy thinking, healthy mindset is a strength and a tool within itself to be able to move forward in difficult situations. So by having that available to you, you're already one step ahead of the game when it comes to being resilient. And I'll give you an example of this. So a moment in my life when I actually was faced with quite a big decision that I made that was going to cause a catastrophic, difficult time. I did not know what to do, and I didn't have the strength of resilience to understand how to move forward from that moment in my life. And this is in my very, very early 20s. And because of bad healthy lifestyle choices, bad mindset, negative mindset, and so many other factors, I chose to revert into a life of bad company, alcohol, drugs, and other means to try and, I guess, get through what it was I was faced with, or manage, or feel like I was managing, or like a band-aid to the pain, or a way of saying I'm okay. But that, unfortunately, is like pulling, for trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's going to wear you out. You're not going to succeed. And really the only person you're damaging is yourself. So having what I have now, being able to look back at that moment and understand that if I had the strength and resilience that I've really concentrated on and really, really worked to strengthen, is I would have been able to move past that point in the past a lot easier, a lot better for me and my circumstances. And also it would have helped to ensure that I didn't sort of choose the bad lifestyle choices, which, like I said, did not benefit me one bit. So so healthy lifestyle choices, healthy mindset, empowering thoughts. Watch what your mind is saying to you. Be conscious of the words that you're using when you speak to yourself, your self-talk in your head. It's very, very simple when we're faced with difficulty to just instantly go, I can't do this. I don't know how to move forward. I can't deal with the emotions that are arising. And the minute you start to say all these things, I can't do this, I can't do that, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to, because you're telling yourself what you're not going to do. Your unconscious is listening, your mind's absorbing what you're saying, and you are literally then going to play out the words that you've said to yourself. So if you take a moment, and I know this is extremely hard, because when we're faced with, trauma, tragedy, difficult times, we generally are acting out of survival state, fight or flight mode. But if you do remember the whole take a moment to take a breath, breathe through what is happening, that allows you just to settle your mind, settle your emotions to a position where you can at least take back some control to think about how you want to move forward. And then if you're conscious of the words that you're using in yourself and how you're speaking to yourself from a positive mindset, you then start to say, I can work my way through this difficult time. I am able to work through this tragedy. I am able to understand what's happening right now. I am able to do this and I'm able to do that, and I can and I can and I can. And there's a very, very big difference in I can't to I can. Now, I can't is something that I don't like in my vocabulary. It's something that, I hear my child say to me all the time, Mom, I can't do that. To me, I'm sorry, there's no such thing as I can't. It just means that you're choosing not to. So watch what you say in your mind, using with your words, whether it's out loud or to yourself. Always ensure that you are telling yourself it is possible to achieve what it is you want to achieve, no matter how hard it seems to be right in that moment, no matter how dark it seems. Yin and yang has to exist in everything. Wherever there's darkness, there has to be light. Wherever there's light, there has to be darkness, okay? So a couple of other things that I wanted to sort of break down on the topic of resilience and why you're building, why you're building resilience within yourself is the ability to also lean on people. Lean on those within your support network. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a family member or a partner or a specific friend. Whoever is there to support you. So whatever person that may be, however they show up in whatever category in your life, that's irrelevant. What the pinnacle moment of focus is here is who can you lean on for support. Why I say that is we are human. We operate better amongst other humans. We don't operate the best on our own. We're not designed that way. Our need and drive for connection with others helps to support our overall well-being. So in a time when you're faced with difficulties, tragedies, trauma, or anything of severity that you struggle to understand, how do I move forward from this? Have a great support network that you can then lean on. And like I said, regardless of who this person may be, it could even be a work colleague at work that you trust, someone you feel safe with. Asking someone for help in a time when you're feeling like you're faced with difficulties is not a sign of weakness at all. It's actually a sign of stress to say that you're trying to understand how to manage through something right now. You're asking for their support, whether it be they're just there to listen to you, to be there with you in silence, to speak to you, to make sense of your thoughts. However it is it needs to show up for you. This all starts to strengthen and condition your ability to be resilient. Because the next time you're faced with this kind of difficulty, you're not going to be in the same position because you're doing things to move forward and ahead of that. People tend to be faced with difficulties or traumas or tragedies and revert to themselves, revert to a place of silence, really pull themselves out of the world, really take themselves out of family, out of relationships, and internalize all of their feelings. And unfortunately, as humans, we're not designed to carry that kind of load. And this is when you start to really see the effect on mental health, the ability of people actually understanding whether they want to live through life and make, thinking or even considering choices of ending that life for them. And that's what we're really wanting to avoid. Obviously, we want to decrease mental health. We want to decrease anybody's thought path of thinking that this life is not worth living, because life is worth living and it's up to you to live it. Life doesn't live for you, you live for life. You've got the ability of living, so live. And I think what we need to always be considerate of is when we're aware of somebody that may be faced with these difficulties I referred to as well, it's okay for us to offer that support, obviously in a place where we ensure the person knows it's coming from a place of love, from a place of kindness, and you truly are there to help contribute and connect with that person and provide them some form of support and certainty so that they don't feel like they need to self-isolate. So I know a lot of people, like I said, tend to think that they can't, or they can't go to somebody, or they can't lean on somebody, but work out who in your life is your support network, people you trust, you feel safe with, people you can go to, and be aware of no judgment in these relationships, actually having purity to them. And that is an okay group of people that you can lean on in times when you're faced with difficulties, which will, as I said, strengthen your resilience. So another thing, which then leads me into, talking about understanding who you can lean on and what you can do to strengthen your resilience, is just trusting yourself, trusting that you that you're able, that you can manage through your feelings, that you can, I guess, move ahead and move forward, that you automatically can start to feel something and understand how to move forward from that. And yes, I am generalizing, because some people have that ability a lot stronger than others, but that doesn't mean that one person can do it and one person cannot, because it just means the person that can has worked on that quality, on that ability, and the person that feels like they struggle in that department just needs to focus and work on that some more. So start trusting yourself, trust your abilities, trust your inner strength, trust your kindness, your love, your confidence. Place trust back into yourself that you physically can do it, and get up and prove it to yourself. Get up and do these things. Get up and have that drive, because like I said, life is worth living, and you have life, so live it. Don't double guess yourself. Watch the words coming in and out of your mind. Watch the surroundings. If you're surrounding yourself with toxicity that's causing you to distrust yourself, cut that off. Get rid of it, whether that's a particular lifestyle choice or an individual. Remove it from your life. Anything of toxicity shouldn't live in your life, because at the end of the day, it's draining your energy, and that's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. But begin to start trusting yourself. Trust that you've got the ability. Trust that, trust the words that you're saying to yourself. Trust your strength. Trust your excellence. Trust everything about you and everything that you've got to give, and that you are enough, and that you are able and worthy to move forward and move ahead. And there's ways to work on that. There's ways to work on trusting yourself. And I mean, truly internalizing the trust for yourself. A lot of people struggle with, with fear of failing, and that causes mistrust in themselves. So when you think about doing something, when you think about how to move ahead, if you're unsure, that's fine. I'm unsure how to do this. Let me find out how to do it. Let me gather more information. Let me do some research. If you try to do something and it doesn't work, that is not failure. That just means, hey, I've tried it this way. And that just means that way is not going to work. Let me work out what lesson I need to learn from that and how I need to change it, or shift a couple of things to actually try it again. And that will achieve the success of what it is I'm trying to accomplish. So you are in control of how you perceive failure. And if you have a fear of failure, that is just a blockage that's been created from past events in your life or past moments that you've experienced. And that can be something that's easily alleviated. Again, if you're looking to do the work to remove this kind of blockage and give yourself that free passage. So fear of failure is not something that will ever pop its head up again for you. Fear of rejection. A lot of people that lack trust in themselves are also feared of rejection. And I think I catch myself saying this all the time, and it might not be the only way of advising, but if you don't put yourself out there, how are you going to know what others are going to feel? And there's a lot of people that will create quite a high level of anxiety, thinking they're going to be rejected, and they haven't even attempted to put themselves out there yet. And then there are people that do put themselves out there, experience the rejection, and then revert internally and don't know sort of how to manage through them emotions. I see, I guess, rejection, if we're going to label it that way, or non-acceptance of what you're doing, just the same as I see a failed attempt at an exercise or something you're trying to achieve. It's just a lesson to be learned. There's no such thing as failure or rejection for me. If I move forward and I get, I guess, rejected from the crowd or the audience in front of me, that's okay. That crowd or that audience is just not my audience. It's just not people resonating with what I have to say. We don't have a connection. That doesn't mean that what I am doing, what I'm saying isn't correct, or it's not really right or wrong, but it's not a reflection of who I am. It's a reflection of what's going on for them in that moment, and I'm not the person for them. So I could choose to take my thoughts and my ideas and my coaching and all the things that I'm doing and run and hide in a corner, or I can just deviate who it is I'm spreading that support to and spreading that guidance to and spreading that coaching to, because there would be another audience out there that will resonate, will connect, and will accept what it is that I am offering. So change your perception, I guess, on the word of rejection. Imposter syndrome. There's a lot of people that suffer from imposter syndrome. You question yourself, your ability to facilitate whatever it is you're working on, what it is you're studying. And again, self-talk, really start to practice a positive mindset, strengthen the way you speak to yourself, strengthen your ability to say, I can do this, I will do this. It's okay if I don't have all the information. I will research that. I will speak to someone that knows. I will get a mentor. I will work with a coach. I will. I'm going to start to speak about what you will be doing. Speak about it like it has happened. I will do this level of research to achieve understanding that module at uni even better. And once I succeed and I pass with high grades, I'm going to look back and smile, and I'm going to have the knowledge in my mind to be able to do whatever it is that I'm certifying in. Speak in such a clear, concise, and precise wording that is giving you and your mind the ability to know where you're going, that you will achieve it, building up your strength, your energy, your enthusiasm to move down that path, and just go for it. And like I said, seek research, seek a mentor that's an expert in that field, work with a coach to help you get through that and channel all of the energy that you need, your own resources to come through, and get rid of the blockages, get rid of the obstacles that keep popping themselves up in your path, because that's just something you're used to. It's something that your patterns of behavior encourage. It's challenges that you have faced before, and therefore they're gonna pop up and say, hey, I'm still here, and work through all that, get through it, smash through it so that they don't exist anymore. Don't allow anybody to tell you can't. Watch the circle of friends that you're socializing with. And when I mean friends, that could be relationships, family, colleagues, etc. Really be mindful of the lifestyle choices that you make. And then self-worth. There's a lot of people that question their self-worth. So you doubt your ability, like, on yourself. You wonder if you can really build your business that you're dreaming of. Your actual self-worth, your self-image, your self-love, everything in all of them three is really at its lowest. You're literally your own judge. You're critiquing yourself. You're stopping yourself from even moving forward. There's a lot, and I think a lot of people do this, and they do it subconsciously without even realizing it. And it's not self-worth, self-love, self-care. It's not about just looking in the mirror and going, hey, you're really good looking, or you've lost some weight, or whatever you may say to yourself. It's actually how you feel when you wake up, all throughout the day, when you go to sleep. It's how you feel inside. It's how you feel when you look at yourself. You could be the most gorgeous model that is literally in front of all the cameras, earning extremely huge amounts of money, and everybody is telling you you look amazing, yet you look in the mirror and you don't see any of that. You actually see something completely different. So you're in control of self-care, self-love, self-worth. And again, this is another tool to practice, but something I'll dive in deeper on in another session. But yeah, resilience. So coming off self-care, self-love, and self-worth, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't look in the mirror and pass judgment or critique comments at yourself. Be kind. Come from a place of love when you speak to yourself, because you are listening. I know that may sound funny, but when you speak to yourself, guess who's listening? You. And you need to understand that the importance of being kind to yourself, it really enhancing your ability to love out of purity from your heart to yourself, starts to amplify your energy levels on so many extremes, internally plus externally. Your body will start to respond to what your internal emotions of yourself, what you're feeling inside, you'll start to see on the outside. So take time to really schedule moments for yourself in a day or in a week where you just, I guess, detox from the world, detox from the thoughts, detox from work, detox from kids, partners, relationships, family, whatever it is you have in your life. Practice that self-care. Take 30 minutes to maybe soak in a bath full of Epsom salt. Let your body detox while you're allowing your mind to detox. Meditate. meditate, even if it's for a couple of minutes every morning to get going for the day, or yoga nidra at night to relax, to get ready for a good night's sleep. These little 5 to 10 minute exercises that you can introduce into your day or your week have such an outstanding impact on you and your mindset and your self-care, your self-love and your self-worth. And it becomes a habit if you remain consistent and you're determined. It becomes habit. And trust me when I say this, it's something that I do. It's something that I've done. I never used to believe it. I used to be the person that would hear people like me talk and think, yeah, right, that's so not true. Until one day I realized everything that I was doing was not working for me. I wasn't getting anywhere. My body was telling me that things weren't right. I wasn't feeling healthy. I wasn't feeling energetic. My mindset was extremely negative, and I used to fall back into negative habits in the blink of an eye. And I realized that the pain that I was experiencing in my life was so large that I had just had enough. And I'd made the decision, this was a few years ago now, I made the decision and I jumped on my journey of self-discovery. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I still have moments where I feel like I'm breaking down, but I've built so much resistance to that feeling of reverting back into old patterns, because I recognize the old patterns, that my resilience helps me and works with me to bounce back instantaneously at times when I think for a moment, for a split second, oh my God, an example, I used to be a smoker. So there could be a time of high stress, and my go-to in the past would have been picking up a cigarette. So there has been moments, and I will not lie, since I've not smoked, where I have that high stress and I think to myself, oh my God, I just want a cigarette. And it's that split second. The minute it happens, I'm conscious of it and I go, hold on a second, sorry, what? No, we're not a smoker. We do not smoke. That is not what we're going to do. I'm really stressed right now. What can I do to reduce my stress levels? I'll go through a breathing exercise. I will find somewhere quiet to meditate for a couple of minutes. I'll go through a guided meditation if I have to. I will do things that will reinforce my positive mindset so that I can then get back to a place of functioning, not at a stress position, back to a place of functioning where my body has calmed itself, my neural pathways have reopened back up. I can then ask myself what resources I need to move forward, and I do that. So when you're conscious of the things that you say to yourself too, we tell ourselves stories. We go through this pattern in our head where we talk to ourselves with stories, and it could be absolutely anything. I'm not going to generalize here because everybody has a different talk track in their mind, but change your story. It's really simple. If you pick up a book, I've got a book here. If I pick up a book and I don't like the story, do I continue reading it? No, I would generally give it a bit of a go. And if I'm still unhappy with it, I'll close the book, put it on the shelf, and I'll pick up something else. Or I'll return it back to the library if I borrowed it, or whatever the case may be. The same with the stories in your mind. When your stories that you keep telling yourself over and over and over again are not succeeding in your benefit, in your happiness, in your love, in your self-worth, your self-love, everything about yourself, if it's not giving you any more energy than I guess the low energy that you're living in, or you're continually in a survival state of fight or flight, change your story, change what you say, change your view, change your perspective. And if you're looking at me listening to this session thinking, yeah, that's easier said than done, then work with someone that can help you. Okay, there's so much out there. There's so many resources that you can reach out to achieve what it is you may be struggling with personally, to learn them techniques and tools so you can do it again in the future. But there's no point in standing in the same position over and over and over again, watching your life go by, complaining, playing out a victim state, living in a negative mindset, and then wondering why when you get much older in your years, your body is breaking down, your health is nowhere near as good as what it should be, you've got no energy whatsoever to live life. Not only are you puffed out because you may be potentially overweight from the unhappiness that you've created, but also because your body's just not functioning the way it should be, and things aren't working out for you. You're still in the same job, or you may not be working, or you may have reverted to a job that's not making you happy, a relationship that's not giving you anything back. Your children, if you have any, aren't actually growing or receiving growth from you as a parent. There's so much that happens later on in years that people are, they're not actually aware of or thinking about, because they think, well, that's later on in life. But later on in life, sometimes it becomes too late. Now, I'm not saying when you get a little bit older that you can't do the work on yourself and turn things around. Of course you can. any point in your life is a good enough time to say the light's gone green and let's just go. But if you can start on that now much earlier and create a life that you love, a life that you will want to be in, pure happiness, full of energy, completely resilient, able to bounce through absolutely anything that pops up in front of you. Nothing will become difficult. No obstacle will be too big. Everything that happens for you in life, you'll be able to manage. And these things you can give back to your children. Again, if you have any, I do. And this is an extremely important point for me. But it also then starts to show up in many areas of your life, your relationships, your family relationships, friendships, your workplace, your career, your I guess the attraction of being employed in positions because of what your energy is amplifying. So resilience is quite a deep topic. Now, I've already gone into about half an hour on it. I can go much deeper into it. It's something, as I said, that I'm extremely passionate about. What I would love to do though is, if this at all resonated with you, if there's anything more that you would like to hear about this topic, please reach out to me. Okay, my name's Margot. As I said, I'm an empowerment coach. I'm a qualified NLP and timeline therapy practitioner, and I'm also a hypnotherapist trainer. So it is a much passionate area of mine. I think anything that can encourage the empowerment within an individual to be able to move forward in life and create the life they do love, they will love, they can love, the life they want. I'm not just talking about let's continue dreaming. I'm talking about let's make it reality. Let's smash through the challenges. Let's strengthen the resources within ourselves. Let's truly become authentic in the sense of who we are. We are amplifying to the world. And trust me, when you do that and your energy level starts just absolutely ricochet outside of you, you're connecting back into the universe, which we are all a part of, and things do start to happen for you. Law of attraction does start. Change your story, change your talk track, start to strengthen your resilience by a couple of the things that I've spoken about here today. And I would love to hear from you if you would like to talk further. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope it has been of value. I do invite you to please let me know if there's anything else you would like to hear about or hear more on. And always open to feedback. Let me know what I can do even better than today. Thank you so much, and be safe and take care of yourself. Bye for now.